It's the Bill with your host, Jack Fitzpatrick.
Good Monday morning. We are back right here on 106.1 ESPN Richmond. Welcome into Fitz the Bill. Alan alongside right here from the capital of the Commonwealth. Appreciate you getting your morning started with us. Feel free, call, text in 804-327-0888. We've been gone for quite some time, Alan. It feels a little weird to be back. I forgot how to talk into a mic. It's good to be back, though, after a week away.
I'm tired, boss.
You're tired. Hey, that alarm went off at 5 a.m. this morning, and I went, that's right. That's what an alarm sounds like.
Mine went off at 5:30, and then I actually went back to sleep and then woke up and it was 7. I was like, oh, God.
Yeah, then I gotta hightail it to the studio.
I'm hightailing it usually anyway.
But feel free. Stream the show. I forgot even what the sayings are. Stream the show. We're live on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. Those are the three, right? Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Just type in ESPN Richmond. We will pop right on up, and you can watch live today and this whole week. We have got a ton of awesome content ready for you guys. It's race week. Richmond race is this Saturday. So on Friday, we will be live from Richmond Raceway doing all things, previewing the truck race, talking with drivers from the truck series, from the Cup series, everything. It's coming at you on Friday. We'll be live from the Raceway. But along with that, we've got Joey Logano tomorrow. We've got Chase Briscoe on Wednesday, trying to work a couple other drivers in as well. So we are pumped for all of the NASCAR content coming your way. Joey Logano tomorrow, Chase Briscoe on Wednesday. Plus this week, we are beginning our high school football previews. We've got Benedictine's head coach, Kurt Van Bargen, today at 8:30. Varina's head coach, Marcus Lewis, later on this week, Wednesday, and Charles Scott of Huguenot on Wednesday as well. So we're starting our high school football previews, and we're going to try to get to as many as possible for these high school football previews. But something I learned going through it and just tracking every school, I knew there were a lot of schools in the 804. There's a lot of schools in the overall 804 area code. Man, there's like 55 plus 60 schools in the area. There's no way we can get to them all. We're going to try, but there's only one of me. We've only got 2 hours a day, so it'll be tough to squeeze all 50 schools in, but we're going to try and hit at least one from every area, every corner of the 804, and it's starting with Benedictine, Varina, and Huguenot this week. We've got Matoaka on the books for next week, and we're working with some other coaches and some other ADs to get some other coaches on and some time set there as well. But very excited for our high school football previews to start up today, 8:30. Benedictine will kick us off with everything that's happening over there with them. Their longtime head coach, Greg Lilly, retires. Kurt Van Bargen takes over, and he's looking to lead them back to the promised land, somewhere they have been quite often during the Greg Lilly tenure. So that's at 8:30. Over the weekend, Shedeur Sanders, really to kick off the weekend, Shedeur Sanders, you were there, Alan. You experienced this firsthand.
Yeah.
You saw Shedeur Sanders have to break up an Xavier Legette fight. That's what we're here to talk about. Not Shedeur Sanders balling out, but instead Xavier Legette fighting someone in a preseason game.
Yeah, look, the only person I would imagine willing to go out there would have been Myles Garrett. Nobody's trying to grab Xavier Legette, man.
Xavier Legette's a big guy.
He is a big guy.
But really, I'll be honest, the Shedeur Sanders story was really the story that came out of that Friday night preseason game down in Charlotte between the Panthers and the Browns. I had sold all of my stock in Shedeur Sanders. We've had a lot of callers calling it, maybe the Rams should trade for him, this, that, and the other. And I was selling my Shedeur Sanders stock. There was points of it where I was just like, who would want to trade for Shedeur? Who would want that? It's not even a foregone conclusion that this man was going to make the roster, let alone be the QB1 for Cleveland when things started out. It was after the draft day fall. I just was out on him. I was kind of high on him pre-draft, the draft fall, and I was like, NFL scouts, they know more than what I know. So if they think he's a 5th-round talent, that might be where he is. Plus, he got some tickets early on, the speeding stuff. There was a jersey retirement. And fair or not, I'll be honest, fair or not, I was just not a Shedeur Sanders believer. He had the talent, kind of. He's lacking some things, but I mean, he was a very good quarterback at Colorado, looked solid. He came in with the name recognition. Probably was the only reason he was getting a ton of buzz and a ton of attention in training camp. I think if his name was Jeff Smith, we wouldn't care about this guy, and he wouldn't even be in the running to be the QB1 of Cleveland because he probably wouldn't even be on an NFL roster. But the NFL, much different from college, chews up college stars, especially the ones with the outside persona of Shedeur, spits them out quicker than Browns fans can buy a new quarterback jersey with Sanders across the back. So I just was not high on Shedeur coming into Friday night. Then Friday night happened, and Cleveland goes into Carolina. And look, I get it. It's a preseason game. It means literally nothing to us. It means nothing to most players. But for the Cleveland Browns and to Shedeur Sanders, this game was quite literally everything. This was his opportunity to put himself at the top of the quarterback competition. Things had fallen his way where he got first team reps. He was the first quarterback out there. All he needed to do was go out and take the opportunity. He said after the game, that's our Super Bowl. He said, that's our Super Bowl. You've got to be able to go to war with each other, each and every guy. We're playing for each other. And he played like it. He went 14 for 23, 138 yards, 2 touchdowns, led a touchdown on another drive. Nothing that really set the world on fire, but it was clinical in his 3 quarters of work, and he looked like he belonged out there. Kevin Stefanski didn't just give him a couple of series. He let him go 3 quarters, a lot of reps, and Stefanski said the situations were invaluable. He'll get a ton of reps next week as well, probably with the first team. And Shedeur was in rhythm. He made plays off schedule, on schedule. He had that one scramble where Luke Floria had the one-handed grab that Stefanski absolutely loved. Did you love that? Did you love that
so
catch?
The most impressive thing was his mobility. I don't think, I was obviously higher on Shedeur than pundits and scouts. And I will say, it's one of those things where I've openly said I think we give some of these folks too much credit.
You have said that.
Yeah. And I think the misevaluation of Shedeur is one of those hit scratching scenarios, but also one of the reasons why I don't just take what somebody says. Not saying he's an all-time great quarterback or anything like that, but drafting somebody in the 5th round and then having this whole talk of he might not even make the roster, and then actually seeing him play, I'm like, how could he not make this roster? We're not talking about any other team. We're talking about the Browns.
Yeah.
If you put the Browns QB lineup right in front of you with Flacco, Gabriel, washed up Deshaun Watson, and Shedeur Sanders, and you're telling me he's not QB2, that is crazy.
Shoot.
I don't need to see Dylan Gabriel play. I don't even know how he got drafted in the 3rd round.
He may be QB1 by the end of all this. Like the numbers that have come out of training camp, his performance on Friday night, he's been balling.
And he just has to, and that's the thing. He just has to make this roster. We're not comparing him to any other roster. It's this particular team.
He doesn't have to beat out Brock Purdy. He doesn't have to beat out Jalen Hurts. He doesn't have to beat out, Geno Smith in Las Vegas. He has to beat out an exiled Deshaun Watson, Dylan Gabriel, Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett.
I forgot about Kenny Pickett.
All 3 of which are hurt
him out.
and banged up. Exactly. They're all hurt. They're banged up. They're doing whatever they wanted. Like, it gave Shedeur the opportunity to be QB1 for the first preseason game. He took it. Threw 2 tutties to Caden Davis. He knew the second one was perfect when it left his hands. There's confidence. Honestly, we never questioned if Shedeur had confidence. We questioned if he'd be able to have that confidence in an NFL game. And it was there. And I know it was preseason, Alan, but he had the confidence. He had the confidence. He had the swagger. He had the bravado.
So the thing about preseason, like preseason is for evaluations. It's not really to determine if a guy is at this ceiling or at this floor. It's to see if he's capable of playing at this level, right? And I think every quarterback that got drafted in this particular draft that played in the preseason in general, so to some level, every quarterback drafted from Shedeur up, right? Let's not go past Shedeur, but like Shedeur, Cam Ward, Dart, and Shuck. I think they all showed that they were capable. So that's your starting point, right?
Yeah.
If you're the fan base, if you're the coaching staff. The thing for me with the Browns, though, if you look at their play calling, you go back to that first quarter, they were in the Panthers territory. It was like their first or second drive. It was like a 4th and 3. They went empty set. They went empty and let Shador do his thing. He didn't convert it. It was an awful sequence where he kind of like did the little scramble turnaround thing and threw it away. But it was what they were doing on the sideline and how he responded when he came back out and he drove down the field, scored a touchdown. That's what they want to see. Can you handle the adversity? Can you handle the Cleveland Browns portion of this?
And he, like you said, he wasn't perfect, and he owned that after the game. This is what he said about his play overall and where he can grow. I mean, he said there's incompletions out there. I know I'm able to complete. I don't think that was good enough. So here's the thing. If that's performance wasn't good enough, Browns fans should be feeling really good about what's coming, because what sold me wasn't the throws. It was the mindset, kind of like what Alan was saying. He wasn't campaigning for QB1. He just wanted to go out there and play. He said, when your number is called, you perform, you win the game. And that's what we did today. He was a fourth string quarterback at this time last week. Injuries paid the way. His number was called. He had limited reps with the first team, and boom, bam, look a part of QB1. So I'm not ready to say he's the Browns' long-lost savior, but he just has to be good enough to be the QB1 of the Cleveland Browns. The NFL makes you prove it in late fall, in early winter, not late summer. But I understand the hype that was fully around Shador coming out of Colorado. The scouts got it wrong, and I am very comfortable now saying I am a believer. I'm a believer in Shador Sanders, and the Browns might have found their quarterback of the next 5 to 10 years. I'm comfortable saying that.
Just real quick, the Browns need Jesus. We're not gonna ask anybody to save them. It'll take a collection. It'll take Shador and 12 disciples to save the Cleveland Browns, but he's on his way to at least showing that he's capable of playing at this level, and hopefully he can continue to grow, because he has some scary throws in there, but he has some wild throws too. And it seems like he understands his ability. The one thing I will say he's got to get rid of is the Big 12 hero ball spin out thing. That just does not work.
It worked on the one-handed catch.
It ain't going to work at this level consistently. It's going to either get you killed or get your receiver killed. Like, get rid of the ball, which I'm sure they'll coach that out of him. And I'm sure his dad's giving him pointers from a DP perspective as well, which helps.
So I'm not ready to say that he is the savior. I'm just comfortable in saying that I'm a believer that Shador will be a good quarterback in the NFL. We had a texter text in. I don't know, guys. People thought I was crazy for having faith. I'm just happy he didn't crash and burn. I was looking back at the old text from this texter.
Yeah.
July 10th. I think Shador is going to have just as good of a rookie season as Jaden Daniels. Look, you're
That's some optimism.
That was a lot of optimism. I do appreciate you looping back and saying people thought I was crazy for having faith. You're right. I thought you were crazy.
I still think you're crazy.
I remember that text.
Jaden Daniels.
I still think that text is way crazy. But the follow-up text to that was, I don't know who has much. I don't know, man. Who knows how much Joe Flacco has left, and everyone knows what Kenny Pickles has to offer. This texter was on it early on. I was slow to get there. Friday night's game got me there. So
Kenny Pickles is a great nickname.
Kenny Pickles is a great nickname. All right, let's go out to the phone lines as well. 804-327-0888. Reggie is on line one. Thank you for holding there for a couple minutes, Reggie. Good morning. Happy Monday. What's up?
Hey, guys. Great information. You know, the Washington Wizards have now found another team that could screw up a diamond and drop in their lap, the Cleveland Browns. I knew the Wizards could screw players up, but, man, Cleveland Browns, you got a diamond in the rough, and you standing there and still don't know what the ham sandwich to do with it. I mean, it just amazes me. You sit up here, draft the guy, the owner is talking about, well, it wasn't my idea. It was the coach's idea. No, it was the GM's idea. Now, all of a sudden, Shador does well. Well, you know, maybe I did do the right thing. I mean, the Cleveland Browns, and they got a new stadium they're trying to build in another couple of years. They got to put somebody that can put butts in the seats and get the fan base excited. When they cut to the game, did you see how many Cleveland Brown fans were there? They took over the stadium. Did y'all notice that?
Reggie, I think every fan base coming to Charlotte right now takes over the stadium. I don't think there's a lot of faith.
Like the Wizards.
Yeah, I don't think there's a lot.
Right.
But you're right. You're right.
I will say it's probably the perspective of that camera angle. It was a lot of Panther fans out there. A lot of Panther fans.
Okay,
and a lot of optimism too. Now, when Shador went out, I think we all collectively left at the same time, like Panthers and Browns. But
all right, time to jump on 85. We gotta get home.
But I was gonna say, as far as like the perspective of the stadium and stuff, it was just as many Panthers fans as Brown fans. So I think that was just probably the camera angle.
Okay, quick question. You got me with the prime clause in Shadur's contract about so many jerseys, his likeness and everything. Y'all familiar with that?
There's what's the clause in the contract?
I'm not familiar with that.
Yeah, it's called the prime clause. He gets a percentage of everything, his likeness, jersey sales, and all this was negotiated in his rookie deal. Some money the NFL can't touch. Not only having the number one jersey sale, he's already made $15 million in counting all jersey sales.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And normally you got to wait. Normally you have to wait the end of the year to get a check for each player. But he's getting that money now. And he has a Gatorade deal. There's a plethora of other deals that's coming up that he's going to get his money on that the NFL can't touch. It's called the prime clause.
That explains Nike's quick commercial.
The second after he did that, he was there.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. Then.
Interesting.
Smart businessman.
He's got a dad that's been through it once. He's got a dad that has been through it once already and can lead him the right way.
That's an interesting extension of NIL and what it could do for you in college, and then transitioning that to the NFL. I'm surprised that the league was cool with honoring it, but they make money off of that too. So I think it's like a
they
win.
didn't have a choice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
just the fine print. Read the fine print. They didn't have a choice.
And then
they signed the contract.
Might set the precedent moving forward for these new kids coming up from the NIL that they can bring their already well-established brand into the league. Arch Manning probably will have this clause. I mean, the big names coming up. When Arch Manning comes in the league in 2027, he'll have.
Yeah, I was gonna say Arch doesn't seem like he wants to come to the league anytime soon.
Reggie, thank you so much for calling in. We got to get to a break. There goes Reggie. Did you see that Archie Manning said that
I saw
highly unlikely Arch declares for the draft? I think they're just starting their politicking now.
I am confused by that. But also, again, I got to see him play. We'll see what he's made of. He's got a really tough defense week 1 coming out the gate in Ohio State at noon. Yes, a noon kickoff for that game. So
big noon kickoff, baby. All right.
Stupid.
Let's update you with what you may have missed. It's only over the weekend. A couple things sprinkled in throughout the whole week that we were out last week. This is what you may have missed.
This is your Fitz the Bill morning update. Getting you caught up on some of the biggest stories in sports.
All right, so this was one of them that came across last week. The NFL has banned smelling salts. Well, kind of. The NFL has said that teams cannot provide players with smelling salts, which caused an uproar. Then a couple hours later, it was clarified that players can supply their own. It's estimated that roughly 3/4 of NFL players use smelling salts during a game. Keeping it on the gridiron, yesterday at an Eagles open practice at Lincoln Financial Field, Landon Dickerson suffered what appeared to be a right leg injury. He was carted off the field. The injury occurred late in the open practice. In golf, Justin Rose made up a 3-shot deficit over the final 5 holes to take down Tommy Fleetwood, and he hit 2 birdies in the playoff against J.J. Spawn to win the FedEx St. Jude Championship. In NASCAR, Shane Van Gisbergen won again. The driver, who's in his first full-time season, has now racked up 4 straight road course wins, and the only road course he failed to win was Circuit of Americas at the start of the season. Reigning WNBA MVP Asia Wilson made history last night. League's first ever 30-point, 20-rebound double-double. Aces head coach Becky Hammond said after the game, quote, "She probably could have had one of these in the past. I never really let her go to the offensive glass until this year, where we've been emphasizing that more." And around the MLB, the Nationals got an 8-0 win against the Giants, win the series, and they beat up Justin Verlander in the process. The Astros take down the Yankees 7-1. New York is now 3-7 in the last 10 and are 6.5 games out of first in the AL East, firmly on the cut line in the wild card for the American League. Braves won at home against the Marlins 7-1. The Athletics down the Orioles 3-2. The Mets fall again. The Brewers get a 7-6 walk-off win. And Milwaukee has now won 9 games in a row. And the Phillies got a 4-2 win yesterday as well. That's what you may have missed in the wide world of sports. We want to let you guys know as well about our friends at Bull Rush. If you want a shot at $50,000 in cold hard cash, Bull Rush just dropped a new sports competition, the NFL Survivor, and the total prize pool is $100,000. First place gets $50,000. Think you got the picks to survive 20 weeks? Join now and prove it at bullrush.com/ESPN. That's bullrush.com/ESPN for their NFL Survivor with $100,000 in a total prize pool. Straight up winner gets $50K. All right, let's get to a quick break. Be back and have a little quick segment before we welcome in Kurt Van Bargen from Benedictine.
Traffic reports on 106.1 ESPN Richmond, brought to you by Herman Allen Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling, a premier Lennox dealer. Online at HermanAllenPlumbing.com.
Drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds. With that kind of money, you could go big on a fancy water bottle with ultra titanium alloy gold. You're not sure why you need all that. I mean, it just holds water, but you're getting it anyway. Because if you're hiking near an active volcano and you accidentally drop the bottle into molten lava, your water will still be icy cold. Switch to Progressive and you could save big time. For water bottles. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states. Potential savings will vary.
If you have back-to-school shopping to do, then you should make Macy's your first stop, because Macy's has back-to-school styles from brands like Nike and Jordan, must-have denim from Levi's and Good American, and now Macy's has Abercrombie Kids too. It's all in one place, all at great prices. And here's another reason to come in. If you're already at Macy's and you saved so much, you could stop by the fragrance counter and pick up something for yourself too. The best back-to-school styles are here now at Macy's.
Hey, this is Lisa Stofan. Heard the Mark Patrick weight loss hypnosis hype? Well, I attended because my father stopped smoking with hypnosis. Hypnosis eliminated my desire for soda and fast food, made me want to exercise, and I lost 60 pounds in 6 months. My energy level exploded. I went to another session to deal with some other problem foods, and I lost another 10 pounds. In fact, I brought my husband, and he lost weight, and his cholesterol and blood pressure improved. My friend lost 20 pounds her first 2 months.
What are you waiting for? Join Mark Patrick's seminars and lose the weight or stop smoking guaranteed early bird special $49.99. Hypnosis designed to destroy unwanted cravings. Late day eating binges, boredom eating, stress eating. Seminars Thursday, August 21st at the Comfort Suites at Virginia Center Commons, Glen Allen. Weight loss seminar 5:30, stop smoking seminar 8 p.m. And Saturday, August 23rd, Hilton Garden Inn, Colonial Heights. Weight loss seminar 11 a.m., stop smoking seminar 2 p.m. Registration 30 minutes before or sign up at markpatrickseminars.com.
This is Freddie and Harry on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
Big Mike in Texas. Are the Dallas Cowboys still considered a desirable destination to play? What say you?
Mama, don't let your baby grow up to be a cowboy. Let them grow up to be Ravens and Niners or something. Anything but the Cowboys.
Check out more from Freddie and Harry weekdays at 3 Eastern on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
The countdown to kickoff is on. Here come the Spiders, and they've got a quarterback sack. This will be Camden Bird. King has running room. He bursts to the outside, and he's on his way. He's going to go in for the Spider touchdown. Richmond football is ready to run it back. Now in the new league. The season starts with a Patriot League showdown of defending conference champs and playoff teams at Lehigh, Saturday, August 30th, 11:30 pregame, noon kick. Catch all the action all season long in the home of the Spiders. 106.1 ESPN.
106.1 ESPN traffic.
Expect heavy traffic heading north on 95 between Broad Street and the 64 merge, as well as heading southbound between Brook Road and Hermitage Road. There's been a crash on South 9th Street at East Carey Street, an accident on Midlothian Turnpike near Watkins Center Parkway, and we're seeing merging delays on 195 northbound between Laburnum Avenue and Bryan Park Interchange.
This is Ben Ingram with the Atlanta Braves. When I'm on the road to D.C. and Baltimore, I always tune in to 106.1 ESPN Richmond for all my sports news. They've got you covered.
Welcome back into Fitz the Bill on this Monday, August 11th morning. I'm Jack Fitzpatrick, Allen alongside as we are back, getting back into the flow of things as we feel the flow. You like that? I don't know if you meant to do that, but I force fed a segue into there.
Oh my gosh.
Hey. Just like Shedeur Sanders is forcing his way into the QB1 conversation with the Cleveland Browns, I forced that.
Just like everybody's forcing us to talk about it too. I'm like, dude, I get it. He did great, but some of the reactions is just it's a little crazy.
It got me to believe like I will be
that's fine.
I really was out on him. I did not have high hopes. I did not think there was a large part of me, and I think I said it on this radio show. There was a large part of me that did not think he was going to make the 53-man roster.
Yeah. I
the way you said that
I was gonna say
bad.
In your defense, a lot of people were saying that, and I forgive all of you for that part at least. Like, dude, there's no way he's not making a roster with 50-year-old Joe Flacco.
You're right.
Kenny Pickett, Dylan Gabriel, and Deshaun Watson, who they don't even want to. Yeah. There's just no way he can't make that roster.
I always forget Deshaun Watson has just been exiled at this point. Like he was there on the sidelines because like he's contractually obligated.
Yeah,
but they don't want anything to do with him.
It's just I just can't fathom. He would have had to go out and play like Trey Lance of the Niners.
Yeah,
of the Niners years.
Trey Lance had a good Chargers game. I'm back in on Trey Lance.
I know a lot of people are. I keep seeing them pop up, and they're like, "See, this is all you need is a coach that believes in you." I'm like, dude, they believed in him. They drafted him.
Yeah, they drafted him overall. He just got hurt and then hurt again and then hurt again. You know who else got hurt? Landon Dickerson, man. That could be a pretty big blow to the Eagles.
Yeah, Dickerson got hurt. Slater for the Chargers,
he got hurt.
Yeah, he got Herbert another year of excuses, I'm sure.
Is he out for the year? How long is that?
He's out for the year.
Slater got hurt that
like a couple weeks after he signed that contract.
Yeah, okay, it was out. I just saw the first initial headline that he was taken off the field or whatever.
Yeah. And anytime somebody's carted off the field, I just assume it's season ending.
It's tough though in preseason. It's tough now because sometimes they just want to take a ride. Like there was one player, I forget who it was, that was carted off the field, but they were sitting in the front of the cart and they just were like talking with the trainer. And it's like, all right, well, he did get hurt, but he could have walked off the field if this was an edit. But Landon Dickerson got carted off the field with an apparent right leg injury. The Pro Bowl guard really shored up the interior of that offensive line for Philly. Now, I don't think losing one guard is going to drastically hurt the Eagles' Super Bowl chances, but it just makes them thinner at a position that they were elite at, and it will impact the way that they're able to run the tush push, have so much success in the rushing attack. This is something to monitor quite closely as it comes closer to week one.
And I know we got to get Coach on here soon, but can we just agree to come back to the conversation of why I was saying Travion Henderson should have been a Commander and why he just stunning on them like he did in that preseason game?
Look, 100-yard to the house. We're getting to Travion
the scary part about
an hour too.
The scary part about Travion's performance is that at one point I realized he could have had like 200 all-purpose yards in the half if they had just let him play.
Travion is going to be the running back 1, 2, and 3 in New England, and their punt returner and their kick returner. He is going to set some absurd rookie all-purpose.
It was the
yards.
Reincarnation of Marshall Faulk. That's what I saw. I was like, oh my God, this is everything I knew it would be.
Zach Joachim of the Richmond Times-Dispatch, he put together an all-quarter century team.
Yeah, he's got
high school. He was the running back, yeah.
Legend says he wasn't even supposed to be a running back.
Legend says. You got to love high school football legends.
That's his coach.
We've got Kurt Van Bargen coming up after this break. Let's get to the break. The first-year head coach at Benedictine will be joining us right around the corner.
Catch up on the latest horse racing news with Off to the Races live broadcast, 10 to 11 every Saturday morning on 106.1 ESPN. Presented by The Racing Biz.
Summertime in RVA means one thing. Golf season is here. If you're looking for the perfect golf course, head over to Queenfield Golf Club, located just a few minutes east of Mechanicsville. Queenfield offers a beautifully secluded 18-hole course, spacious driving range, and professionally maintained practice greens and bunkers. Schedule your tee time today by calling 804-769-8838 or reserve a spot online at queenfieldgolf.com. And make Queenfield Golf Club your new favorite course.
It's bow time. Sure, you've had a sausage biscuit before, but have you had the smoked sausage biscuit from Bojangles? Well, now is your chance. Juicy, slow-cooked smoked sausage is grilled to perfection and served on a fluffy, made-from-scratch buttermilk biscuit. No one does breakfast like Bojangles, and this smoked sausage biscuit doesn't disappoint. Right now, you can get 2 for just $5. Start your day with this flavor-packed deal while it lasts. It's bow time.
It's summertime here in the RVA, and soccer season is in full swing. Make your plans now to catch the next Richmond Kickers home game Saturday, August 16th versus South Georgia Tormenta FC. It's back to school night at City Stadium as we get ready for the new school year. Gates open at 6 p.m. for a 7 p.m. start, so make sure to stop by early for happy hour beverage specials and sample RVA's best variety of food trucks. Reserve your tickets today at richmondkickers.com. And don't forget, at Kickers games, dogs are always welcome.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $19 a month, a savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance.
For your free quote, call SelectQuote at 1-800-743-8080. That's 1-800-743-8080. Or go to SelectQuote.com. 1-800-743-8080. That's 1-800-743-8080.
SelectQuote. We shop. You save. Full details on example policies at selectquote.com/commercials.
At the Original Mattress Factory, you'll often hear us say we can't fit our quality in a box. Our customers feel the same way. Here's what an actual OMF customer had to say.
I recently purchased a bed-in-a-box mattress and returned it a month later. I replaced it with a bed from the Original Mattress Factory, and I am beyond thrilled. Don't bother with any of the online mattress brands. Go to OMF and you'll be in great hands. My only regret is not going there sooner.
Come see our quality firsthand at the Original Mattress Factory.
Weather reports on 106.1 ESPN Richmond, brought to you by Herman Allen Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling, a premier Lennox dealer. Online at hermanallenplumbing.com.
106.1 ESPN weather.
Taking a look at today's weather forecast, it's currently 73 degrees and cloudy with a low today of 69 and a high of 87. Rainy conditions are expected to start around 2 p.m. and letting up again at 7 p.m. Tomorrow, we're seeing similar weather with a high of 88 and a low of 71.
106.1 ESPN, home of Border to Border with Matt Josephs.
Dive into Virginia's hottest sports topics daily.
Agree or argue. Matt's got the takes you can't ignore.
Welcome back into Fitz the Bill, rolling right along on this Monday, August 11th morning. I'm Jack Fitzpatrick, Allen alongside, and we are beginning our 8:04 high school football previews. And we're starting it with Benedictine. Head coach Kurt Van Bargen joining us on this Monday morning. Coach, thank you so much for taking some time out of your, what I believe is probably a hectic preseason journey to week one on this Monday morning with us.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Excited to be out here. We've had a good training camp and look forward to talking some thank you football.
Yeah, of course. So just kind of start there. How has this preseason practice been going? How has everything been shaken up in your first year as the head coach at Benedictine?
It's been good. A lot of competition. We feel good about our numbers and our depth in a lot of spots. We've had a competitive 2 weeks of training camp going on week 3. Had a great scrimmage last Thursday. Glen Allen and TJ, who are great teams, great coaches, and really got a chance to evaluate some of the positions where we want to see some guys step up. And we'll get a chance for another evaluation of guys this Thursday when we scrimmage LC Burke their place.
That sounds like a lot of great practices going on, some scrimmages going on. What are you keeping an eye on when you're seeing your guys go up against these scrimmages?
You really I look at scrimmages are never a scheme thing. We're just calling base plays. We want to see guys run to the ball, be violent, block, tackle, and who steps up in those critical situations and who wins one-on-one matchups. I told the guys kind of the focus of training camp. We started camp July 29th. Inter-squad scrimmage that first Saturday. Every day, every scrimmage and evaluation. So we start with a big pool of 120 guys in the roster and keep narrowing that pool down each week, every scrimmage, to see who we're going to work with. You know, in terms of who can be in different roles, who can play teams, side of ball, starters, backups, that kind of stuff. You really just look for who can just block, tackle, be competitive, and be tough out there.
Head coach of Benedictine, Kurt Van Bargen, joining us on this Monday morning. Coach, Greg Lilly retires. What has that process been like since taking over for the longtime coach?
It's been good. That's where Greg is really, he's a military guy, so he understands change of command and those things. So I'm grateful. In the last probably 2 years, we've talked about this, and the preparation that he put me through, it was invaluable, to where he would either give me little responsibility along the way, like, hey, Kurt, handle this, and I would just take it and ask him questions, or even things that I didn't necessarily take the reins on. He would call me in his office, and he would always talk me through his thought process about things, why he did things, and that's made it easier than what it could have been. But there's still obstacles that come up. There's still things that come up. But luckily for me, Greg is so supportive. I talk to him daily, and any questions I have, I'm knocking on his door, shooting a text, giving a phone call.
So was that kind of one of the reasons you decided to come back to Benedictine? What was it, in 2022? You've had coaching stops like everywhere in college, in the college ranks, D2, D3, FCS, FBS, Power 5. Was that kind of known that you were potentially taking over the reins for Greg Galili when you decided to come back in 22?
We had talked about it. Now, I told Greg, so I made the decision to come back during COVID. During COVID, I think like everybody else, everything changed. Once March hit, you had your routine in college. You had your season, you recruit, winter workouts, spring ball recruits, summer camps, July off. That's your routine. Once I got in my routine, I was like, what is this? I was in Maine. I was enjoying golfing, doing those things, still working there. I made the decision then to come back. And I called Greg and Del Smith, who I've known Del since I'm an 04 alum. So it's always been in the back of my mind. And what Greg has done here and the respect people have for the program at a college level and across the football landscape is so big. But I was kind of dead set on being in college until COVID. And I started exploring different high school jobs, different areas. I had connections in Florida, New England prep schools. And it just made the most sense to come back here. When I came back in 22, I had told Greg I was still unsure what I wanted to do professionally, So be careful, give me too much responsibility, because I'm still trying to see where I want to be, what I want to do. And that 22 season, just seeing how Greg and the staff operated, the support from the school, you know what? This is the place where I want to be my last job. And then after that fall season, Coach asked me to run the offense. And that's really when the ball got rolling. After that 22 season, me and Greg had sat down and had that conversation about my goals professionally. And that big part of that was, it's important here. It's important to our kids, important to the community and the school.
That's awesome. Benedictine head coach Kurt Van Bargen joining us. And now you everything has gone through. You've taken over the reins, and now you have started those practices. Have there been any standouts early on in practice for y'all?
Yeah, we return a good group of guys. You have the obvious, like a quarterback, Carson Lambert's got a great command of the offense. He was very good last year, and just a command of the offense where the guys rally around him. And he's one that stepped up and really taking his game to the next level and really just run the big picture for the guys, getting some new skill kids lined up. And then defensively, a kid like Caleb Sandys had a really good training camp. We've moved around a bunch, slot receiver, nickel, safety, corner. And he's really had a good training camp so far. Another kid, Malachi Mingo, he's a rising junior, a really great offseason. And that's turning into a good training camp as well.
So what can we expect from your team this season? Kind of what is your style of play? Will it be what we have come to expect from Benedictine, or will it change up a little bit?
I think big picture, it's going to it should stay the same. Now, you might change what you do schematically and where guys are, but I've always believed big picture with your tempo, spread, whatever you might be, odd, even front, you want to be great on defense, stop the run the ball great on teams. And everything we do will never sacrifice that. Now, we want to spread the field, force teams to be sound, but you can't sacrifice those principles, okay? Then beyond football, we want a product that our community's proud of, where we have tough kids, competitive kids that enjoy playing for each other, and that ultimately are an extension of the school and the community. And that's something that's very important for me.
So when you look at this first season, what are your expectations for this team in year one?
Yeah, so the same thing I told the guys July 29th. Get better every day. And it sounds cliche, but it's the truth. You saw it last year. We came out the first game at St. Michael's, didn't play well, had a sloppy brand of football out there, and we kind of punched them out a little bit. But we just got better and improved every single week, and understanding what the end goal is. So just focus on the now, get better each week, be a great teammate, tough and accountable. And once you do that, I truly believe this, and our kids are on board as well, as the results take care of itself. If you get better each week, we'll end up in the place you want to be.
Benedictine head coach Kurt Van Bargen joining us. Coach, you got Matoaka week 1 on your schedule. What was the thought process in putting Matoaka there on your schedule to open up the season?
Well, one thing, I don't know if it's been posted. We actually play St. Michael's August 28th. So we'll play them on a Thursday to open up, and St. Michael's is going to be a big challenge for us the first game. And as for Matoaka, it's always good to play local teams, and they're an outstanding team. They've been outstanding. They've had some great players come through there. And we're always looking to play those local Richmond teams are big for us. And getting a great Friday Night Lights competitive environment is going to be good for our kids.
Sounds like a blast. Coach, thank you so much for taking some time out of your Monday morning. Have a great last bit of training camp as you guys get set for that August 28th showdown against St. Michael's.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Have a good one.
There goes Kurt Van Bargen, first-year head coach of Benedictine, as they look to keep things rolling. Greg Lilly retired this offseason, and Kurt Van Bargen took over for them. He's been an offensive coordinator since 23. He's been on the staff since 2022, an alum of the program as well, has had coaching staffs at the Division III, Division II, FCS, FBS, Power 5, really every stop along the college route. He has done it, and now he's looking to take over his alma mater and keep that success rolling. Open up the season August 28th against St. Michael's. Then they play a showdown with Matoaka the next week, and excited to see what Benedictine does this year. Let's get a quick break in here. We'll step aside, be back with more Fitz the Bill right here on 106.1 ESPN.
Do Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis symptoms keep coming back? Tremfya, guselkumab, may help, with rapid remission achieved at 12 weeks and lasting clinical remission at 1 year. Some even saw visible improvement of their intestinal lining at 12 weeks and 1 year. Tremfya is a prescription medicine used to treat adults with moderately to severely active Crohn's disease and adults with moderately to severely active ulcerative colitis. Serious allergic reactions and increased risk of infections and liver problems may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or if you need a vaccine. Healing is possible with Tremfya. Approximately 3 out of 10 patients were in endoscopic remission at 1 year, based on areas visualized on colonoscopy, which may not represent the deeper bowel layer or entire GI tract. Individual results may vary. Ask your doctor about Tremfya today. Call 1-800-526-7736 to learn more or visit tremfyaradio.com.
Traffic reports on 106.1 ESPN Richmond, brought to you by Herman Allen Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling, a premier Lennox dealer. Online at hermanallenplumbing.com.
Join Mark Patrick's seminars and lose the weight or stop smoking guaranteed early bird special, $49.99. Seminars Thursday, August 21st. Comfort Suites at Virginia Center Commons, Glen Allen. Weight loss 5:30 p.m. Stop smoking 8 p.m. Or Saturday, August 23rd. Hilton Garden Inn, Colonial Heights. Weight loss 11 a.m. Stop smoking 2 p.m.
JMU Nation, mark your calendar. Talkin' Dukes goes live Wednesday, August 20th from Draftcade in Short Pump. Join Matt Josephs and Jack Fitzpatrick for the only show in Richmond dedicated to JMU athletics. Tap into the purple and gold spirit with alumni, fans, and food at Draftcade, 106.1 ESPN, where Richmond talks JMU.
We're more than a station. We're a sports community. Braves, Spiders, NFL, NBA, MLB, NASCAR, talk shows, big games, local heroes. 106.1 ESPN Richmond. It's where Richmond talks sports. Want your brand in the mix? Advertise with us today. Call 804-330-5700 or email espnrva@summitmediacorp.com.
Stuck off the field, 106.1 ESPN's got your back. Stream every debate, score, and highlight on the 106.1 ESPN app. Download today and stay in the game.
Welcome back in. Fitz the Bill on this Monday, August 11th morning. Just heard from Kurt Van Bargen, first-year head coach at Benedictine. He's taking over for Greg Lilly, who's the first of our 804 high school football previews that will be carrying out from now until week 1, which is around August 28th, August 29th, depending on when each school is kicking off. So we'll be having those throughout about 60 plus, I think, schools in the 804 technically. So we're going to try to get to as many as possible. If we miss one, let us know. 804-327-0888. But we're going to try to get to as many as possible. Coming up on Wednesday, we'll have Varina's head coach Marcus Lewis and Huguenot's head coach as well. They'll be calling in, stopping by the studio. When they can stop by the studio, we'll gladly have them, and we'll continue this rolling on. Probably every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, we'll be having high school football coaches interviews, and then sprinkled in there on Tuesdays and Thursdays, do some college football previewing as well. But Benedictine should keep that same success that they had under Greg Lilly, a very successful private school here in the 804 that is kind of, from what head coach Von Bargen was saying, they've kind of molded him. They knew he would be the successor for a while, and seems like that's what good programs do at the high school level. You identify who's going to be taken over, and you help them kind of flourish in that role. And Greg Lilly's still working at the school as well, so is a very, very good treasure trove of information.
Yeah, and that's if you think about the transition and how they've done it, it's very similar to elite college programs where you kind of have a guy that's a part of the program, not just in staff, but he played there and whatnot. So he gets Benedictine culture, right?
Yes.
And that's really the biggest thing when you're reestablishing a new coaching era, is that culture from the previous coaching era, especially when it was as successful as what they've had. You want to keep that going. You want the kids, the parents, the community, and your opponents to all feel like nothing has changed. And I think they did a good job with that.
Yeah. And you see it in basketball too. Coach Shire taking over for Coach K.
Oh, yeah.
Alan Huss was hired away from High Point to be the quote unquote coach in waiting with Creighton with Greg McDermott. So you see it a lot across all types of.
It's the best way to keep a good thing going.
If you got great culture, keep it rolling.
Don't be Bama.
Yeah. Hey, be nice to Kalen DeBoer.
Hey, all right.
He had a rough first year.
He did. I wonder what changed. What was different about Kalen DeBoer?
He fired Colin Hitchler. That's what happened. And Colin Hitchler has now found his way to James Madison.
Yeah, everything looks different in Bama. So that's, again, if we say jokingly all the time, the standard is the standard. You're talking 10, 11 plus wins at Bama, and then you bring in a guy that I know it was his first season, but like just culturally, like the things I've seen out of Bama, because you talked college, so I'm gonna put it out there. The things I've seen out of Alabama are not very Alabama-esque.
You're right. That's the key. So Alabama did something where they probably shouldn't have hired outside the coaching tree. But even when you hire inside to try and keep that culture rolling, that doesn't always work out. Gerard Mayo,
that's
with
true.
the New England Patriots.
That's true.
But I thought Kalen DeBoer would be successful.
Bro, I would have paid Brent Key everything he wanted to come back to Alabama.
Really?
Yes. He personifies what they
Georgia
do best.
Tech's head coach?
Yeah, he was their offensive line coach and stuff. He knows the recruiting.
You know what he's doing at Georgia Tech?
He's building a good thing.
I think they were
from the interior.
I think they were picked 3rd or 4th in the ACC this year,
which is saying a lot because they don't really take football that seriously.
No,
I'm telling you, I would have.
Don't take anything seriously.
I would have given him whatever he asked for just to keep it within the family of the guys from Saban. You can't get Kirby. You can't get Sarkisian. Lane would not be a blessing. And
Dabo didn't even get a call.
No, Dabo took himself out once he started talking that silliness about NIL and not wanting to do it.
It's true.
Yeah.
Then he did it.
Yeah, then he did
Talking
it.
out both sides of his mouth.
The knee will bend one way or another.
Yeah, when he saw what happened, what was it, early on in the season, Clemson had an embarrassing loss. Was it to Georgia?
Yeah.
That was his knee bending. He went, oh, I have to get in on this. And what did he do this offseason? Got in on it.
Which I'll give Georgia credit. They still do a pretty darn good job of recruiting, but they're in the
hotbed of
I was gonna say they're in like the
Georgia, Florida,
the bull
right
market of recruiting. Yeah,
you can literally walk outside of Georgia's campus in Athens and spot 4 5-stars.
Now I will say though, just because I just mentioned Georgia Tech, Brent Key has snuck his way into some of these top prospects out there in that state of Georgia too. So
when you got that money,
I'm curious to see what and again it's the linemen within the trenches. I'm curious to see how that translates, but that would have been my personal pick, with the idea of keeping culture the way that it is. Because in high school, or actually in all sports, honestly, when you build a winning program,
yes,
it's hard to keep that culture. Like
it's very hard.
like Mike Vrabel probably has brought back some of the Bill Belichick
Patriot
persona.
way, yeah.
The Patriot way, whatever that means. I feel like he's probably done a good job of re-energizing not only the locker room but the fan base and thinking that this is going to be a step in what we know.
You know what question I should have asked during that?
What?
Is it Coach Von Bargen or is it Coach Bargen?
I think it's Coach Von Bargen.
Would he use the Von?
I would use the Von.
I'm not well versed in German last names. I'm an Irishman.
Oh,
as Fitzpatrick.
I'm not well versed in either.
but yeah, you keep the culture going because just as quickly or as long as it's kind of like the whole saying about like it takes a lifetime to build a reputation. It takes 1 second to destroy it or something like that. It takes a long time to build a good culture in high school football.
I will say this, Coach Von Bargen. When we talked about Keith Van Horn, we said Van Horn.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
All right.
Just putting it out there. That's valid. That's the only one I know.
Valid. So I'm excited to see what they look like against Matoaka. That St. Michael's game as well to open up the season. That St. Michael's one. He's right. It's not posted anywhere. The first game on their schedule, where all the sources I would look to, is Matoaka.
Week 0,
baby. August 28th. Gotta love it. And then get a little Matoaka action. And they pretty much play private schools from the rest of the way out. But I like all those scrimmages they had too. Glen Allen, TJ. They have LC Bird on Thursday. That's a lot of local schools that you're able to get. A lot of good local schools. You're getting some good scrimmages against. That's a good approach for
the beauty of this area. You don't have to go far to play good programs.
Literally go anywhere.
Yeah, across the street sometimes. Yeah, around the corner,
down the block, maybe another block.
Yeah,
but yeah. What were you saying about Travion Henderson? You wanted the Commanders to take him?
Yeah, I did. I wanted him to be one of their first 2 picks, honestly, because I thought with his playmaking ability, he could do a lot of things for that team. Because the one thing the Commanders were missing were playmaking ability. Hindsight, obviously, Connerly as an offensive lineman, a key need in any situation. And then Trey Amos isn't awful. I think he's going to be really good. So it's not a total loss, but I would have personally taken somebody I thought had athletic upside. Remember I said I thought he had like a low first round grade, upper second round grade in my book, just because of the upside. Ryan Day didn't do him a lot of good in some situations, primarily trying to make him into like some in between the tackle, like blunt object.
That's not him. He's a speedster out in space.
When he gets out in space, man, he can do some amazing things. I'm telling you, he's got wiggle. He hasn't shown just because right now he's in the mode where he can just run right by you.
It's funny that the Browns continuously Browns.
Yeah.
Right. Like you had option A or B from Ohio State, and they went with the wrong one. And then Travion Henderson has been balling out with the Patriots. He was taken with the 6th pick of the second round, so the 38th overall pick, and Washington didn't select until late in that second round with the 29th pick of it. So well off the table. They would have had to take him in the first round, but
I know
Connerly
was asking a lot.
Yeah. Connerly was the right pick at that spot. But if he had fallen somehow, or if they had able to maybe, I wonder. I don't even know if Travion Henderson was on the Commanders' radar. If he had fallen to like the 10th or 11th pick in the second round, maybe they try to like figure some way out to trade up to get him. But he ends up going to the Patriots. I think that's a great spot too. Ramondre Stevenson is not a very good running back. He had some hope. People liked him early on in his tenure up there, but he just has kind of been a fumble-rooski machine. He hasn't been that reliable with injuries and everything. Josh McDaniels loves a receiving back, and that's what Travion Henderson is. He can pick up pass pro pretty well. Travion Henderson landed in a very good situation with a rookie quarterback. That 1-2 punch in the backfield could lead to Henderson getting a lot of run and racking up some good all-purpose yards in the process.
Yeah, and he's the best athlete on the in all their weaponry. Honestly,
I mean, who else? They got Pop Douglas. Is that his name? Their wide receiver one. Oh yeah, Stephon Diggs. I guess when he's not partying with pink stuff.
But Diggs isn't the athlete he used to be,
and he's coming off a torn ACL.
I don't know if I can say he's washed. I gotta see how he plays off the torn ACL. But like obviously, even when he was at his prime, he wasn't necessarily a burner per se.
He's just a very good route runner.
He wouldn't have been the explosive that you get from Travion Henderson. And that, you know how some people have like trigger words during football. Explosion is my thing this year, man. Like there are so many people that can get you the ball and that can make plays, but there's not a lot of people that put a lot of fear in people's hearts after they get the ball. It's what you do after the catch. Because if you think about it, even with the Chiefs offense, a lot of people are dialing things down. People are keeping the ball in front of you. You see a lot of too deep looks. And quarters that are just like, you're not going to beat me deep. Throw it underneath. Let's see what you can do with the ball in your hands. And you get guys like Travion, you get guys like CeeDee Lamb and Jetta that can get the ball and they turn into these just dynamic
monsters. Yeah. Because the odds of you, I mean, they're just playing the odds game. The odds of you making 10 successful plays, 11 successful, 12 successful plays down the field to score a touchdown, very small.
Yeah, and guys can't tackle anymore.
You're going to get a holding penalty. You're going to get a false start. Something's going to go. There's going to be a drop. Something will go wrong in that set of 12 plays where the defensive coordinator is betting. You are going to make a mistake before we are. We are going to set ourselves up where you're not going down the field. We are going to, the second you catch it, we're going to tackle you. We're going to make you dink and dunk the way down the field. And if you can get a player that can break through that, like a Jettas, like a Travion Henderson, that is the cheat code that teams are looking for now. That is what teams want.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a premium emphasis on that from a lot of offenses this year is get the ball out.
Yeah.
Let's see what our playmakers can do. Get me the yak.
Yeah. And like that's why Deebo Samuel's having such a good time with Jaden there.
Well, he's got to stay healthy too.
We'll talk about Jaden Daniels and everything that's happening with that wide receiver group in hour 2 because I thought, crazy me, I'd go on vacation for a week and Terry would be signed when we came back. No, things seem to have gotten worse.
He signed on my Madden game.
Jaden Daniels has asked what is his thoughts on the Terry McLaurin situation. I control what I control.
That's a great answer, man.
You know,
it's a great answer.
And we are back to where we started.
No,
what's happening with McLaurin?
That is absolutely a great answer by Jaden. Don't ask me. I'm not his agent.
I'm here. I'm throwing to the guys that are here. And Deebo Samuel's been one of them, and he's one of those Swiss Army knives that you love to use in any way possible. And Cliff Kingsbury, if he stays healthy, is going to unlock a lot out of Deebo. So much more coming up in hour number 2. Stay with us on this Monday, August 11th. Fits the bill.
Whether it's the football field, the basketball court, or the diamond, and everything in between, we'll be talking JMU athletics on Talking Dukes Wednesdays, 6 o'clock here on 106.1 ESPN.
This is Greg Trzynski of the Original Mattress Factory. Looking for a more natural way to sleep? Our orthopedic natural mattresses combine our legendary quality with nature's finest materials. We hand build each mattress using renewable materials like cotton, wool, and natural latex, creating a luxury sleep experience that's as good for the planet as it is for you. Visit one of our showrooms to try them out in person or visit originalmattress.com to learn more. The Original Mattress Factory. Sleep better, naturally.
Wrap up your workday with Matt Josephs and Bob Black from 3 until 6 p.m. Live interviews, breaking news, and real talk about Richmond sports. Your business can be part of the conversation. Own the afternoon on 106.1 ESPN Richmond, where Richmond talks sports. Call 804-330-5700 or email espnrva@summitmediacorp.com.
JMU Nation, mark your calendar. Talkin' Dukes goes live Wednesday, August 20th from Draftcade and Short Pump. Join Matt Josephs and Jack Fitzpatrick for the only show in Richmond dedicated to JMU athletics. Tap into the purple and gold spirit with alumni, fans, and food at Draftcade, 106.1 ESPN, where Richmond talks JMU.
Indiana, he gets it. He's a Heisman Trophy winner. He's understanding the offense more and more. I'm on this island by myself, but I'm telling you,
you've always been really high on him.
This dude is going to be a rock star.
I'm the only person that I feel like I was on an island by myself questioning him when he came into the league.
And now it's the other way. Everyone's questioning, and I'm going, hey, get ready. Come November, watch out.
For Indiana, weeknights at 7 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on SiriusXM Channel 80.
The countdown to kickoff is on. Here come the Spiders, and they've got a quarterback sack. This will be Camden Bird. King has running room. He bursts to the outside. He's on his way. He's going to go in for the Spider touchdown. Richmond football is ready to run it back. Now in the new league. The season starts with a Patriot League showdown of defending conference champs and playoff teams at Lehigh, Saturday, August 30th, 11:30 pregame, noon kick. Catch all the action all season long in the home of the Spiders. 106.1 ESPN.
From the Bull Rush ESPN studios. Learn more at bullrush.com/ESPN. W291CL Lakeside Richmond. WURV HD2 Richmond. We are 106.1 ESPN. You're listening to the second hour of Fitz the Bill on 106.1 ESPN.
Welcome in hour number 2 of Fitz the Bill. We're off last week. We are back with a loaded week right here on 106.1 ESPN Richmond. We've got Joey Logano tomorrow, driver of the number 22 Ford Penske machine. He'll be calling in and we'll be chatting all things Richmond as it is race week. The race is Saturday night and they have got a ton of other things happening Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, with Friday night being the truck series. We will be live at the track on Friday morning. We'll have some drivers then, some truck drivers, some Cup Series drivers, and anyone else who's popping in. So Joey Logano is tomorrow. Chase Briscoe from Joe Gibbs Racing is on Wednesday. Plus, sprinkled in between all of that, we're going to have the head coach from Verina and Huguenot on the show on Wednesday as we have begun our 8:04 high school football previews. That'll be at 8:30 and 9:30 on Wednesday. The head coaches from Verina and Huguenot. And like we said in hour number 1, there are over 60 schools in the 8:04, and we're going to try and get to as many as humanly possible. But there are going to be some that we miss. If we miss your school, if we miss one that you want to hear about, feel free to call. Feel free to text 804-327-0888. And if you also want to watch the show, watch the stream, you just type in ESPN Richmond on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. We'll pop right on up, and you can watch the stream live over there. The stream is brought to you by Bull Rush. And Bull Rush, they've got a brand new sports competition that they want you to know about, the NFL Survivor. It has a total prize pool of $100,000. If you win first place, $50,000 straight up, no ifs, ands, or buts. Think you got the picks to survive 20 weeks? The NFL Survivor, you can sign up now at bullrush.com/ESPN. That's bullrush.com/ESPN. So a lot of great stuff coming up this week. We are very excited for race week and everything that is coming. We've got potentially going to be live from UVA football as well next week, maybe. Got to check my email there, but I may be live at some point over there, trying to go to Virginia Tech as well. We're taking this thing on the road, man.
When you look at me and you say live from UVA, I'm like, that's news to me. I go for it.
I just got the email. We're trying to plan something out.
Hopefully it's better than the email I got reminding me that the Commanders training camp today is at 2.
So you're hightailing it.
Yeah, I don't know why I thought it was in the morning. I'm more concerned about the traffic on the way back.
Oh, 2's gonna put you right in the thick of rush hour.
I'm like, oh man, I need a
don't get caught up in Fredericksburg.
I need a secretary. I need better scheduling.
Hey, when you get a secretary, can you get me one too?
Look, I went to Panthers camp. You know what it did all week?
Rained
every day, but Thursday. Guess what Thursday was? Their day off. Oh. It poured.
Did you get some good barbecue while you're down there?
Of course, I always find the good eats when I'm down there.
As you should.
It's the best part of it, honestly.
That was the best part of ACC kickoff.
Yeah, the eats.
I was like,
because the weather was awful, but all the videos and stuff I saw before that, it looked like paradise. It was like nice turf.
Yeah,
and it was sunny and beautiful.
You know what it was yesterday in Charlotte, right?
Lemonade.
It was bright and sunny yesterday too.
See, it's me. I'm the problem.
You all right, Taylor Swift.
Oh, well, next week. Hey, look, next week we're doing preseason for the Bengals. So I'm just going to let everybody know the same way we ask them to text in if they know about the high schools. If you've got a tailgate, let us know because we will visit your tailgate at Commanders home games. You can hit the text line 804-327-0888. I'm serious.
It's a nice way to get free food.
No, it's not even about the food. I promise. We have some cool things coming up this year for cooking up for the Commanders coverage, and part of that is tailgate crashes. So if you're out there, just shoot us a text. Jordan and I are typically traveling to the game a couple hours early anyway. We'll come by, say hi, do a quick hit, and get you on our social media.
That's it. And then maybe you get a pulled pork sandwich or a hot dog or something.
Hey, look,
in the meantime.
and if you happen to have some food that you're willing to spare,
I'm not gonna say no.
I'm not.
Who's to say no to free food?
Not at all.
Of course not.
Not at all.
So while you're doing all that, We'll be I don't even know a clean segue to this. We're going to do college football camp updates. We're talking some high school football in hour 1. In hour 2, we're going to talk about some college football camp updates from around the FBS schools around the state. And I want to start with UVA because there was a comment. It was a great interview with the Cavalier Connection. Greg Medea, beat reporter at the Daily Progress, who covers UVA football and basketball exceptionally well. Friend of the program, friend of the station. You can find him on this show. You can find him with the Sports Huddle, with Border to Border, everything like that. Greg Medea is fantastic. And he had some comments with the Cavalier Connection podcast about what his expectations are if everything goes right for UVA. And honestly, the answer was quite surprising to me.
Wait.
There's some he was very excited about a couple of wins and has good expectations for UVA going into this season. This is what he had to say.
Special teams blunders like the ceiling, if everything clicks and the O-line is good and I know Tony's talked about this a little bit already in this training camp, if they don't make the bad penalties, if they don't have the special teams blunders, like 8-9 wins, if everything goes well, right? Like that to me is probably a fair assessment.
It's feeling Monday, man. It is a Monday.
It's definitely Monday.
It is a Monday. We're figuring some things. It's a Monday after a week off. We're figuring things out. But UVA can't come out like it's a Monday after a week off this season because Greg Medea said 8 or 9 wins if everything goes right. And of course, that's the big caveat that you always say. You can't avoid the massive injury. You can't hit the. If everything goes right, they stay relatively healthy. He thinks this is a team that can win 8 or 9 games this season. And there's a different feeling around UVA this year. They've got the talent. This is the largest in terms of weight and size that Tony Elliott has had in the trenches, both offensive and defensive side. They had the influx of NIL cash, a $5 million anonymous donation this offseason that they were able to put towards a lot of starters. Chandler Morris, the quarterback, got a new slot receiver in Cam Ross, bolstered the offensive line, bolstered the defensive line. And now this feels like a put up or shut up year for Tony Elliott and UVA. Like if they do not make a bowl this year, it's going to be the end of the era, end of the Tony Elliott era. But this is a team that I believe has the talent to be a top 5 team in the ACC, but they're so volatile because if a couple of things break the wrong way, they could be a bottom 5 team in the ACC. I don't see this team as a, we're going to chug right along at around the 10th or 9th best team, and we're just always going to be right there in the middle. I don't think there's a middle ground with UVA. I think they're either going to be a very, very good ACC team because their schedule is quite easy. It's ranked as one of the easiest schedules in the ACC. They're a very experienced team. They should be able to take advantage of that. So they're either going to be really good or a couple of things are going to break the wrong way, and they are going to be hovering around the bottom of the ACC. This is a volatile UVA team, but there's a different feeling around them where they have hope. They have these high expectations that I don't think they've had in the Tony Elliott era.
Yeah, I think this is probably the most optimistic team as far as coming into this season. But the question you have to ask yourself when you're looking at UVA football, honestly, with Virginia Tech too, I hate to throw them in this segment, but
they're coming up next.
Yeah,
this is FBS camp updates from around the state. So Virginia Tech's next.
So the question that you have to ask is, do I expect these teams to win the games they're supposed to win? If they win the games they're supposed to win, then by all means, you can project a ceiling of 8 to 9 wins based on UVA's schedule, because UVA's schedule is easy, or at least it looks easy before we play the game, because there might be some teams on here that might surprise. But for the most part, this is set up to be a schedule that should get you into a bowl game. By all means.
1,000%. Just looking at the schedule.
But the issue will be when they play, and I'm not going to throw one of our smaller schools in there, but when they play a Stanford.
I know you were going to throw in William & Mary.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, it's the truth. You're supposed to win that game if you're UVA.
In the month of September, between August 30th, the kickoff, and the end of September, they play one road game at NC State. And the other games they have is Coastal, should be a win. William and Mary should be a win. Stanford should be a win. And Florida State, I mean, that's another volatile team.
Yeah,
Like who knows what they are going to be
They have
after.
beaten Florida State in Charlottesville before.
So
It's
like
not like it's far-fetched.
you could sit there and be their only loss, maybe their only true road game at NC State. Worst case, they're 3-2. Best case, they're 4-1.
Yeah, and then then they have to win a couple more games after that, and they're still set up. Like Wake Forest is a good setup for them. Washington State is a good setup for them. Even traveling out to see Cal, and we don't know what UNC has.
I'm low on UNC too. Like, call me crazy, but I think UVA is a team that has the potential to be a top 5 team in the ACC. They also have the potential to be a bottom 5 team in the ACC. It is a team that's either going to be very good or very bad, not a middle ground. I can see out there for UVA. Let's go out to the phone lines. We've got Espo on line 1. Good morning, Espo. How are we doing?
Hey, brother. Good morning. I'm optimistic too because I like Tony Elliott. I think he's the right guy. But look, it's nothing money won't fix. I mean, they've obviously seen the light and decided to spend some money. So yeah, I mean, I think 8 or 9 is a little optimistic, candidly. But you're right, schedule's conducive to it, and they should beat William and Mary, and they certainly should beat Coastal, although Coastal's not a walkover. But I honestly think they're probably going to win 7, and that's bowl territory. And listen, that puts the program on the path it needs to be on. Right now, they're kind of deciding which way to go.
Yeah.
But I hope they do. It's good for the state that there's good football all through the state. It's not good that you have one good team.
Yes.
That's just not a good recipe. And I'm hoping Tech makes the move. I'm not very optimistic about Tech, to be candid with you.
Especially with all the talent in this state, right? Espo, like the 804's got some great high school talent. The 757 has great high school talent. Northern Virginia has good high school talent. And yet the state schools haven't really been able to retain a lot of the great talent in the state because it's been multiple years of just down years. But if they're able to reclaim it, all of a sudden you can see these great guys staying home, the Darius Grays and everyone like that.
Well, Travion Henderson, kids from Hopewell. I mean, and listen, and the talent in this state has been this way since the 70s as far as the kid. The problem is, and I'll tell anybody who wants to know it, the coaching has not been there at the high school level, and they don't help the kids recruit. I mean, they don't do the things that people in Pennsylvania and Texas and Ohio and California do. And I mean, we're a top 10 state for talent. And I heard that from no less than Joe Paterno told me that. And I'm thinking, why if that was back when UVA couldn't buy a win and Tech was, 6-4. It was a shame. And I think the coaching has gotten somewhat better. I think the exposure for the kids has really gotten good. But we should be a dominant, Southern high school power, and we always should have been. I mean, look at the kids that come out of the state. Just start with Lawrence Taylor and work your way down. The talent level is tremendous around here, and the kids like football, which is, another good thing. If you go maybe up to New Jersey or Connecticut, there's not that fervor you get with the kids. But it's amazing that, how we've squandered the talent over all these years.
Yeah, hopefully that can change. And I think it starts this year because, like you said, money can fix almost anything in college sports. And UVA is now outspending Virginia Tech according to their revenue numbers and their just overall budget numbers. UVA is investing. They had that huge influx of cash in the offseason. I keep coming back to it because I think that anonymous donation is why they have these expectations. If they didn't have it, then I don't know if we would be saying 8 or 9 wins or a bowl game. But they've got to get a bowl. They've got to start putting momentum forward rather than just kind of, they feel like they're a boat in the middle of the ocean with no sail up, and they're just taking it wherever the waves take them. That hasn't worked out for them. They need to get their sail up. Maybe the $5 million was that. And this is their opportunity with both UVA and Virginia Tech kind of in this doldrum. This is their opportunity to kind of jump over Virginia Tech and try and stake their claim as, I think Virginia Tech said this a couple years ago. Brent Pry said it, where they're the flagship program of the Commonwealth. It's UVA's opportunity to be the flagship program and try to give, and I'm not trying to have my JMU homerism show here, but try to give JMU a little run for their money for who's the best team in the Commonwealth.
Well, you're right. I mean, the center of the football universe in Virginia now is in Harrison. I mean, you say what you want, but if they're the team that is the odds-on favorite in their conference, they're odds-on for a bowl, you can't say that about anybody else, including Tech or Virginia. So, you may not like where the gravity is, but that's where it is.
Yeah.
And another thing I'll leave you with this. There's a lot of emphasis put on the coach. Football wins don't start with the coach. They start in the athletic director's office, in the president's office, in the fundraising office. That's where they start. The coach is just sort of the last guy on the assembly line that puts the product out there. You got to start early. You can't just hope to do it, with coach as the savior. There's never been a program in America that's won that way. Never.
Yep.
You may have a great coach, and if you've got no talent, he's a great coach with no talent.
Yeah, like look at ULM, right? I mean, Brian Vincent, I think he's a great coach, but his AD's gone. He's now the acting athletic director, and things are going from bad to worse in Monroe, Louisiana, because there's no buy-in from the top. And as great of a coach as he is, Brian Vincent can't overcome that.
Hey, look, and as you being a LSU fan in an SEC country, also a strength and conditioning coach is also key to that.
All right. We don't have to be snorting 50 pills a day.
I'm just saying.
The game's won by the biggest guys on the field. It always.
Yep.
All right.
Espo, thank you so much for calling. Have a great Monday. Have a great week.
Take care, fellas.
There goes Espo. Did you see that story?
Which one? There's always some drama in SEC country.
Wait, you didn't hear the story that came out, I think, this morning or yesterday?
Yeah, I was swamped.
The
yesterday.
old Alabama strength. I thought this was the joke you were making.
No, but I was going to say there's always an issue with the strength and conditioning coach.
It was either
out in
Alabama
SEC.
or LSU. He's been a strength and conditioning coach at a couple of different places.
Yeah.
He's now been sober for about, I think they said 19 months, but at the peak, because he was experiencing pain, he got addicted to painkillers and was snorting, according to the story, 50 painkillers a day.
That sounds like an LSU strength and conditioning coach.
I thought you were making a joke about that. I thought you were making a joke about that.
One of the first issues between the Big Ten and the SEC started with Big Ten schools like Ohio State trying to poach the strength and conditioning coaches from the SEC schools. That started the initial beef and then satellite camps.
Look, games are won and lost in the boardrooms, where they're getting the budgets put together, and then they're won and lost in the weight room. And I know that sounds extremely cliche, but that's just
it's so true though. It really is true.
Yeah. So moving from UVA, Virginia Tech, and this one might be blasphemous, and if I'm wrong here, Alan, correct me, but there's more hope in Charlottesville right now than Blacksburg.
I would say there's more optimism, just because the expectations are different. Like a bowl game, and I've said this before, a bowl game for Coach Elliott keeps them in the mix, right?
Yeah.
Keeps his job probably. Just a bowl game for Brent Pry, it depends on the bowl game. It depends on how he got there, right? Like we're talking 7-8 wins at UVA, great season. 7-8 wins at Virginia Tech, this again. Like that's kind of where we're going with the Hokies. And I've said it before, and I'm not wishing any ill on anybody, but it is tough to have 21 or 22 starters, I think is what he had last year, return.
Yep.
And have the season that he had last year and come back this year and bounce back and re-energize a fan base and people to be in your corner.
Yeah.
But this is a new era where things can turn around quickly. If it was the old way where you have to go through cycles, I don't know if it would work, man. So we definitely have to see if NIL has helped. Virginia Tech didn't sound like he was a big proponent of it when you guys were down there at the ACC Media Day.
I think this is the put up or shut up year, but you could change a lot. You lost a lot of your starters. You lost nearly all. You only returned 13 between the offense and defense, a far cry from having 21 returners last year. And they didn't get the influx of money that Charlottesville have, and they've given Pry one more chance. And all the numbers suggest that this could be a bounce back year for Virginia Tech. They held a lead or they were tied at the 2-minute mark in 4 losses last year. They had 5 net close losses, so within a score or less. And then the one change they really did, they brought in a new defensive coordinator, a new offensive coordinator. And according to some reports out of camp, they are focusing a lot on situational late game scenarios because the one of the Achilles heels for Brent Pry is 1-score games. They are 1-12 in 1-score games under Brent Pry. And the only win was in 2022 in the season finale at Liberty. So yikes.
I mean, it's a tough ask. And again, we don't know until we see it on the field, but it's one of those things where they can't have the Vandy type games. And again, we're talking about 2 teams. It's the same thing. The projection of what they could do depends on them winning the games they're supposed to win. And I think that's even more important for Virginia Tech because what hurt them last year, and you just talked about, like some of those very, very close games, they were expected to win those games.
And they couldn't pull it out. And the fact that Brent Pry is 1-12 in 1-score games, It's not a good look. So I think right now on August 11th, there is more hope in Charlottesville. There's more optimism in Charlottesville than there is in Blacksburg. And that's probably the first time that has ever been said going into a football season. UVA is spending more on their team. They seem to be a little bit more invested. Now, if Virginia Tech can have a successful season, make it to a good bowl game, I think that can flip in a hurry. But it is a big put up or shut up year for both Tony Elliott and Brent Pry, but a little bit more, I think, for Brent Pry. The other schools in the FBS around the state, JMU, Alonza Barnett still not cleared for contact, which adds a little bit of an interesting complexion to the quarterback battle. But at this point, I would be utterly shocked if he's the starter in the first month.
What was
of
his
the NFL season.
injury again?
Torn ACL.
Torn ACL. Has he done
suffered a torn ACL? Just to I've been banging the drum on this, and people are probably tired of it. But he tore his ACL on November 30th.
Yeah.
Game 1 of the season is August 30th. That would be 9 months since the initial injury.
Has he done anything that you know of as far as participating?
He's practicing. He is practicing, but he's not cleared for contact.
Yeah.
So he's taking snaps and throwing the football.
There was somebody that had that last year. I want to say it was Cam Rising last year, where it was one of those situations where he was coming back from an injury and he hadn't been cleared by a certain point. And so I think he missed the first game. That is asking a lot from anybody.
An ACL recovery is 9 to 12 months.
And you have to get your confidence back, honestly, as an athlete.
There's something in your mind, quite literally, that prevents you from being 100%.
Yeah, it's
after
the
a torn ACL.
fact that your knee gave out. I've been there.
Yeah, the fact that you can't trust your knee.
Yeah, you got to overcome that part.
And like, not only do you have to overcome that, you have to overcome that with 300-pound men diving at that knee.
Yeah, and I didn't have that scenario. I just had to overcome that because I'm 300 pounds. So
I feel you.
I get it for sure. I don't think they'll rush him back.
I don't think so either, but it just adds for a nice little interesting storyline going on with Camden Coleman, the Richmond transfer. Sluka is there, the UNLV Holy Cross transfer. So some interesting moving parts that keeps it interesting with Alonza still practicing but not being cleared and not really being given a clear schedule or timetable.
Can I put a stigma on JMU too?
Hit me.
Hey,
horrible with injury updates.
Well, no, they need to be better at winning the games on the road that they're supposed to win. That hurt them a lot last year.
Hurt them a lot last year.
So they also are a team that have to win, but for them specifically, it's road games. They have to win the games on the road. They're fine at home, but they have to make sure that when they go visit who was it? Was it Louisiana Monroe?
At ULM, a 21-19
Yeah, that was
loss.
to say Louisiana Monroe.
At Georgia Southern, a 28-14 loss. At App State, blew a 2-score lead in the second half to lose 34-20.
Yeah, those and two of those games for sure I expected them to win. App State is typically like the rivalry thing. It can happen. It can go either way. But ULM and Georgia Southern, especially Georgia Southern, they were better. They were significantly better than Georgia
ULM. Tell me, oh man, you're making me relive memories.
Hey,
all right.
just putting it out there.
ODU, on the other hand, quietly just doing their thing down to 757.
Yeah,
not making a lot of noise. I like ODU. They're They're my dark horse pick to win the Sun Belt.
ODU, just show up and play Tech and get your money.
Yeah, or not anymore.
Well, they got
only got it this year. Yeah, they're playing at Virginia Tech this year, and then I think that's the end of it.
Invest that into some talent in the state.
They just got to start. Just hit the 757 real.
I
hard.
like ODU though.
I do too. I love their quarterback, Colton Joseph.
Yeah, he's a gamer.
He needs to learn how to throw a football a little bit better. But man, he is one of the most dynamic rushers of the football.
To that, I will say in college, you can still win a significant amount of games not being able to throw football.
Tebow.
Yes.
All right, let's get a break in here. We'll step aside. Be back with a little news or snooze on this Monday morning.
Horse racing is back, and it's time to get ready for another Triple Crown season. Get the latest from the industry every Saturday morning from 10 to 11 with Off to the Races on 106.1 ESPN, presented by The Racing Biz. Nick Hahn and Frank Vespi bring you their insight and knowledge, talking with the people making the headlines, including jockeys, trainers, and owners. Plus, get the expert picks each week, including a visit by Derby Bill Watson. It's Off to the Races each Saturday morning at 10 on 106.1 ESPN, streaming live on the iHeartRadio app.
Summertime in RVA means Richmond Kickers soccer games at City Stadium. Family fun, food trucks, and men's soccer action on the field. Tickets online at richmondkickers.com.
Serving Richmond and beyond for over 20 years, Bonaire Shell features a full line of automotive services. Check out bonaireshell.com, loaded with coupons, specials, and more to see all that they can do for your car and your peace of mind. And now with their Fuel Rewards program, you can save at least 5 cents per gallon on every fill-up. Learn more at fuelrewards.com. Go see the team at Bonaire Shell, 8762 West Huguenot Road. Go to bonaireshell.com or call them at 272-3232. That's 272-3232.
Looking for the perfect golf course? Check out RVA's best kept secret, Queenfield Golf Club, just a few minutes past Mechanicsville. Reserve your tee time today at queenfieldgolf.com.
Do Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis symptoms keep coming back? Tremfya guselkumab may help, with rapid remission achieved at 12 weeks and lasting clinical remission at 1 year. Some even saw visible improvement of their intestinal lining at 12 weeks and 1 year. Tremfya is a prescription medicine used to treat adults with moderately to severely active Crohn's disease and adults with moderately to severely active ulcerative colitis. Serious allergic reactions and increased risk of infections and liver problems may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or if you need a vaccine. Healing is possible with Tremfya. Approximately 3 out of 10 patients were in endoscopic remission at 1 year, based on areas visualized on colonoscopy, which may not represent the deeper bowel layer or entire GI tract. Individual results may vary. Ask your doctor about Tremfya today. Call 1-800-526-7736 to learn more or visit tremfyaradio.com.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $19 a month, a savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance.
For your free quote, call SelectQuote at 1-800-743-8080. That's 1-800-743-8080. Or go to SelectQuote.com. 1-800-743-8080. That's 1-800-743-8080.
SelectQuote. We shop. You save. Full details on example policies at selectquote.com/commercials.
Join Mark Patrick's seminars and lose the weight or stop smoking early bird special, $49.99. Seminars Thursday, August 21st. Comfort Suites at Virginia Center Commons, Glen Allen. Weight loss 5:30 p.m. Stop smoking 8 p.m. Or Saturday, August 23rd. Hilton Garden Inn, Colonial Heights. Weight loss 11 a.m. Stop smoking 2 p.m.
From Richmond and beyond, Border to Border with Matt Josephs on 106.1 ESPN breaks down Virginia sports like nobody else. Bold opinions, zero sugarcoating. Tune in.
Welcome back in. Fitz the Bill on this Monday, August 11th morning. I'm Jack Fitzpatrick, Alan alongside. And it's time for a little news or snooze where we break down 3 headlines around the wide world of sports. We share if they're either newsworthy or if they're snoozeworthy. It's all football all the time now. Everything revolves around the NFL, at least for news or snooze today, because we've got 3 stories, two about the preseason and one about some media rights deals, which are always fun and exciting. This is News or Snooze.
News or snooze.
All right, number 1, Morris Norris. Is that really his name? I've never said it out loud.
I don't know.
Wow. Is that the guy? Wow. He's back with the Lions. He's out of the hospital. This is the guy who suffered a very scary injury in the Lions-Falcons game that forced them to finish the game early. He's out of the hospital. He's back with the Lions. Maurice Norris? M-O-R-I-C-E. That's Morris. Morris Norris?
I don't know.
I've only read his name. I've never said it out loud. First time saying it out loud.
I'm happy he's back, though.
Yeah, good for him. He's back. This is newsworthy. Newsworthy. Awesome. Glad to see he's okay after a very, very, very scary moment. But this leads me to the question that I've been beating around the bush a little bit on. Do we need preseason? Do we need preseason? Look, the NFL is a violent and a very scary sport. Why do we need to put in preseason games when we're already going through a very violent practice schedule? Why do we need preseason games when you're not really getting a lot? The best coaches out there, the Sean McVays of the world, as Matt Joseph would think, the Mike Tomlins of the world, but other coaches, John Harbaugh's, heck, Dan Quinn didn't play half of his starters. The best coaches out there are using joint practices, right? They're using joint practices as a barometer for how a player is going to be. Not that is what they're using to figure out their 53-man roster, not a fourth stringer versus an insurance agent. I don't think preseason games are necessarily needed in the NFL. I think joint practices, maybe using more joint practices and practices in general can help more than a preseason game. I'm anti-preseason. And with your throat clearing over there on the other side of the glass, I feel like you do not agree.
I was clearing my throat just to clear my throat.
All right.
But I am not in agreement. I think preseason is necessary for certain levels, right? Like, I don't need to see Myles Garrett and guys I've already seen that can perform. I actually don't really need to see first and second round guys in preseason because I know what they can do.
Yeah, you're not cutting them.
Yeah. But the guys on the cut line and some of the guys you still have questions about, it is good to see game speed, game mentality. Like, joint practice and all that stuff isn't a game mentality. It's really not. Like, people can think it is, but nobody truly practices how they play. There's extra adrenaline when you have that game, that crowd's cheering, you get that stadium vibe. Some people under the bright lights typically
play better,
like they play better. Some people will. You wouldn't know that until week one. And if I'm running an organization and I'm a head coach, I want to know before I step into the game against the Eagles what I got in Joe Milton and these guys on the Cowboys, like using that as an example.
There's just been so many unneeded injuries.
But that's the risk you take every time you step on the field.
But these are risks we don't need to take.
But there's non-contact injuries and things and practices. Should we just stop practicing?
You need practice. My argument is that you don't really need preseason. The best coaches out there are using joint practices more.
I will counter that guys like Andy Reid use preseason though. There's the argument where he plays his guys
for a drive and then they're done.
And that's cool. And then he gets the most out of his other guys evaluating them. And forget what Harbaugh says, the Ravens go hard on their preseason games.
Stringers and their soon to be insurance agents go hard.
Yeah, but there's really not a ton of starters that spend a lot of time playing in preseason.
I'm just saying, like, with this injury, it made me really like we could have avoided it if we didn't have preseason games. And I'm just a preseason hater. I don't love the preseason, and I know I'm putting a lot of stock in the Shedeur Sanders week one of preseason.
Wouldn't have known that in a joint practice, he didn't even get to practice.
That's a fair point. So there's pros and, but I just truly do not think we need preseason because you can mimic a lot of things in practice and cut down on these scary injuries. But at the end of the day, the NFL is just a very violent sport, and it's part of it. But if you can cut down on it. Maybe you have them all wear Guardian caps. I don't know.
I don't even know if the Guardian caps really work.
I don't think they work.
And I'm only saying that based on the logic behind the science of concussions. I don't know if that particular sleeve is really
a pad on your helmet.
Yeah, is really impacting the blunt force trauma that you get when your brain is shaking. Yeah. But hey, look, apparently it works well enough for them to be providing them to the league, and I don't see people getting concussions with Guardian caps, so I'll just go with that.
And concussions have come down quite a bit over the last couple of years. All right, number 2,
salts
that they now have to supply themselves. Tyler Shuck gets most reps at quarterback for the Saints. This one is snoozeworthy. We are being subjected to maybe the worst quarterback competition in the history of the NFL. Spencer Rattler versus Tyler Shuck. Tyler Shuck and Spencer Rattler. This is the worst quarterback competition that we're being subjected to. And it doesn't matter because the New Orleans Saints are going to be bad. They're going to get the number 1 draft pick, and they're going to take whoever is there. Lenora Sellers, Fernando Mendoza. If Arch Manning decides to come out and Arch Manning can play for his grandpa's old team. I mean, goodness gracious. This reminds me of the Houston Texans quarterback competition when Davis Mills was their starting quarterback. When David Cooley, was that his name? Something cool. David Culley, was that his name?
I don't know,
The
but
1 year.
I was a big Davis Mills guy, man. I like
Yeah,
that.
and look where he is now.
Oh yeah, I mean, not in the pros, but
I think he actually might still be a backup somewhere.
he probably is.
With his long neck.
He threw a decent pass. I would
But,
imagine
like,
he could hang around.
Man, this cool. He gets the most reps for the quarter. You know who's going to get the most reps in preseason game 2? Spencer Rattler. They're in a battle of who can be mid more. Like, this is such
I think mid would be good for them.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Every other quarterback wants to avoid being mid. Tyler Shuck and Spencer Rattler are battling to see who can be mid more, like the longest mid run, because they're both bad. It's just such a boring quarterback competition.
I agree.
Number 3, ESPN is acquiring NFL Network and other NFL media assets in exchange for 10% equity stake in ESPN. This is newsworthy. This is newsworthy for a couple of reasons. So the positives, right? It's going to give the NFL Network new life. So part of this deal as well, ESPN is taking over all of the leases that the NFL Network has out on the West Coast. ESPN recently shut down their West Coast studios. So, Sports Center at night, everything that they produced over in Los Angeles, they had to shut that down. But now this gives them new life to potentially move it up to Inglewood, where the Rams is, and where they have all the NFL Network studios. It is going to enhance ESPN's coverage of the NFL. It honestly might be a shot in the arm that ESPN kind of needs. It's been losing talent left and right with layoffs for the past 5 years. Maybe this reinvigorates it a little bit more. Those are the positives. The negatives, the NFL now owns 10% of a company that was an outlet covering the NFL. So now the NFL is 10% owner in what should be a journalistic entity covering them and keeping them honest on the things that they are doing. So it's a sticky situation, and no longer can ESPN be an unbiased outlet covering the National Football League in terms of the hard-hitting news. Now, Adam Schefter is still going to have his chef bombs, and he's going to be breaking the news of the trades and the signings and the deals and all of that stuff. But the days of getting hard-hitting NFL news from ESPN probably over, which is very newsworthy, and it's something to monitor. It kind of reminds me of the FanDuel network and the DraftKings network and everything, where these sports betting companies are also now in the business of creating content. It just makes for some interesting stuff. So with ESPN now being owned by the NFL, 10% of the company, just makes it for a very sticky situation. And then Red Zone, the little addendum to all of this, it's going to continue and it will be owned by the NFL. ESPN can license Red Zone, so we could get Red Zone for the SEC, Red Zone for college football. But the NFL will continue to own Red Zone. Scott Hansen will continue to do that. It will just be part of ESPN being able to distribute it over their app or other entities that ESPN owns, ABC owns, Disney owns, and things of that sort. So don't worry, ESPN will not touch Red Zone. That is maybe the best news of it all. All right, let's get a break in here. We'll step aside, be back with more Fitz the Bill on this Monday morning.
Do Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis symptoms keep coming back? Tremfya, guselkumab, may help, with rapid remission achieved at 12 weeks and lasting clinical remission at 1 year. Some even saw visible improvement of their intestinal lining at 12 weeks and 1 year. Tremfya is a prescription medicine used to treat adults with moderately to severely active Crohn's disease and adults with moderately to severely active ulcerative colitis. Serious allergic reactions and increased risk of infections and liver problems may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or if you need a vaccine. Healing is possible with Tremfya. Approximately 3 out of 10 patients were in endoscopic remission at 1 year, based on areas visualized on colonoscopy, which may not represent the deeper bowel layer or entire GI tract. Individual results may vary. Ask your doctor about Tremfya today. Call 1-800-526-7736 to learn more or visit tremfyaradio.com.
Have you failed the DMV written test 3 times? DTW Driving School can help you, and it's easy. For $99, you can take the DTW Driving School DMV approved course online, and you can even save $10 by using the DTW Driving School online coupon. What's even better is you can take the course at your convenience. Get details at dtwdrivingschool.org. That's dtwdrivingschool.org. Register today, and DTW Driving School will get you back on track.
Hi, it's Steve Mann. Have you heard the commercials for the Mark Patrick Stop Smoking seminars? And they said only $49.99 and it could work for you. So I thought, that's not even a week's worth of smoking. So I went. And guess what? It did work for me. You know, my friends and family are still amazed. I quit smoking. I didn't have cravings, anxiety, or weight gain. Listen, I don't know how it works, but I know it works because I'm living proof, and it's 100% guaranteed. So what do you got to lose? I'll tell you what you got to lose. A very bad habit.
Join Mark Patrick seminars and stop smoking without cravings, irritability, or weight gain. Early bird special, only $49.99 guaranteed. Don't just cut down, but stop smoking once and for all, or your money back. Seminar 8 p.m. on Thursday, August 21st at the Comfort Suites at Virginia Center Commons in Glen Allen, or 2 p.m. on Saturday, August 23rd at the Hilton Garden Inn in Colonial Heights. Registration 30 minutes before seminar. Sign up at markpatrickseminars.com. That's markpatrickseminars.com.
Summertime in RVA means one thing. Golf season is here. If you're looking for the perfect golf course, head over to Queenfield Golf Club, located just a few minutes east of Mechanicsville. Queenfield offers a beautifully secluded 18-hole course, spacious driving range, and professionally maintained practice greens and bunkers. Schedule your tee time today by calling 804-769-8838 or reserve a spot online at queenfieldgolf.com and make Queenfield Golf Club your new favorite course.
Hi, this is Joe Simpson with the Atlanta Braves. Keep it locked here on 106.1 ESPN, your home for the Atlanta Braves all season long.
Welcome back in. Fitz the Bill rolling right along on this Monday morning. Terry McLaurin, that situation still not resolved. Went on vacation last week. I was enjoying my time in the Outer Banks, sitting back, reading some books, killed a couple of books. I think I did 2 of them in about 5 days, 4 days.
Wow.
I was a reading machine.
Go touch sand.
I was literally. But I expected to come back and Terry McLaurin's situation to be played out and to be finished and that he would be back practicing and they would have, found some sort of resolution, or heck, he would have been traded. And Jaden Daniels was asked about getting his star wide receiver back, and he said, quote, "I control what I control."
Great answer.
All right, Jaden.
Great answer, man.
All right, man. And now, look, the situation looks like the end might be week 1 when it's the regular season with nothing indicating that anything will have changed. And the only reason he's suiting up is because he can't afford to miss, 17 weeks of game checks. This situation looks like it is going to not be played out this offseason. And I was reading an article, Charles Robinson of Yahoo Sports had this really interesting stat. McLaurin is turning 30 in less than a month, and there is not really any track record except for 2 players of a 30-plus-year-old getting $23+ million a year on their average annual value, which McLaurin is reportedly asking for anywhere between 30 to 33. He wants to be higher paid than DK Metcalf is what everyone is saying. He wants a 3 in front of his number. Cortland Sutton just signed a deal that was around $23 million. And that's kind of the benchmark that the Commanders have. And Terry is on the other side. And there's not a long track record of players of 30 years or older getting $23 million per year or more. Of all the wide receivers in league history who have signed contracts earning more than $23 million annually, only 2 were 30 years old or turning 30 in the same year that they got their deals. It was Tyreek Hill and Devontae Adams, both multi-time first-team All-Pros. That's not McLaurin. It's not McLaurin. Do I think he's worth more than $23 million a year? 1,000%. But he's not worth $33 million. He's turning 30 in less than a month. He is not worth $30 million at the end of this extension in 3 years, in 4 years. It's a tricky situation, but I think the Commanders have firmly planted their flag on the right side of this. And I also think it's worth noting that if there was something that had come up in terms of a trade partner, it probably would have leaked either from the agent side or the Washington side, just because that's how these deals go. That if there was a good trade package or a trade deal out there, we would know about it, which that tells me there is not a ton of NFL interest in Terry McLaurin as it stands. At this point in training camp, not a lot of teams are interested and giving up a couple of high-prized picks or high-prized players and then have to sign Terry McLaurin to a 30-plus year $1 million deal. Maybe there's two reasons why. Maybe that's because the Commanders are unwilling to trade him, and they have made that very clear. Or maybe it's because no team in the NFL is willing to give a soon-to-be 30-year-old $30-plus million per year for the next 3 to 4 years. So we're kind of stuck in this wait-and-see formation, but I don't think the Commanders are going to bend their knee. Terry McLaurin's going to be the one who's going to try. He's going to be the one that has to succumb to the pressure here. He's already played all of his cards. There's no way he's getting a 3 in front of his name. I think the longer he waits, the less leverage he gets and the more leverage the Commanders actually get. I don't see Terry getting a $28 million deal, a $29 million deal, maybe 25 to 27 at this point.
Yeah, what they said, they were about 7-8 million off is what the report said. So 7 to 8 million. I don't know if that can get resolved in a week. So Jack, I'm sorry to tell you that it might take the whole preseason.
I think this will not be resolved and he will be playing week 1 on the same contract.
I'm going to check Spot Track again for his market projection, but
that thing changes every day.
Yeah, I know. The last time it was pretty low. He's up to 26.5 now. The last time I looked, it was almost like 24 something. So I think it's a gamble for him and for the team, right? This is a high stakes poker match where somebody's got to call somebody's bluff. If I'm Terry, I hold until the last second. Because again, you're not losing value per se if you're him, if you're going to end up playing on this contract anyway. So maybe it might be in your best interest to hold as long as you can and then come in this year and have a great year and see what you get next year. But there's no precedent for paying a 30-year-old X amount of money. There's no precedent for paying a 31-year-old that same amount of money or more as well. So I think it's a tough situation for both team and player. I go back and forth whose side I'm on, but at the end of the day, I can see both sides being right in holding before they do any deal.
And that's why we're in a wait and see formation.
Yeah.
I mean, Devontae Adams, when he signed his deal in 2022, the market was completely different. I understand that, but it was $28 million a year.
Yeah.
Even now in 2025, like I don't think Terry McLaurin's going to be getting $28 million a year from the Commanders. And if I really think the Commanders have all the leverage. He's under contract. So if he doesn't get this deal, he's still going to have to play this year. And next offseason, he'll be turning 31.
Yeah. And all the guys, they're under 30. They're making the 30 million.
Yeah. They're all because,
or at least at the time they signed that contract, they were under 30.
Of all the wide receivers in league history who have signed contracts earning more than $23 million annually, only 2 were 30 years old or turning 30 the same year they got their deals. This has only happened twice before. To get more than $23 million average annual value. Not 30, 23. So Terry McLaurin, it's a sticky situation. I was hoping that it would be figured out. Lake Lewis said it when he was on the show. He's tired of covering drama. This has kind of turned into some drama, unfortunately, with the Commanders.
I'll ask Lake when I see him today how he feels. Like a follow-up.
Yeah. So what are your thoughts on this drama situation? That was because he was in, what was it, 2 Wednesdays ago? And then like that Thursday, Terry requested a trade.
Yeah.
And that's just par for the course now. What are your thoughts on that? Micah's requested a trade. Terry's requested a trade. These players that are in these contentious contract battles, it seems like it's just par for the course to go out there and then also request a trade.
No, I mean, you're supposed to take care of your guys. That's good business, right? And Micah and Terry, well, Micah is definitely Dallas's guy. I have said before, Terry might be in a little bit of a different situation because he was the previous ownership and the previous front office's guy.
And now he's the first deal that this new front office has to make.
And they actually have a quarterback that they have to plan for. And I know people are like, well, he's still on the rookie deal. Yeah, the brunt of Terry's contract is either going to have to come early or come at the time when you have to start thinking about how are we going to pay not just Jaden, but that was a pretty good draft class for them. They're going to have to pay a lot of those guys in that class.
And then if you hope Connerly pans out and Trey Amos pans out, your top 2 picks this year.
And Tunsil still has a contract coming up.
Tunsil has a contract coming up.
And he's top 5 in his position.
Debo's got a contract coming up too.
He's expendable.
Well, yeah, but you did give up some draft capital for him.
That's
so, like,
true.
there are some deals coming up here, and half of your defense is on 1-year deals. Like, Terry's put himself in a tough spot. And I think every day that he is holding out, he is losing value because the leverage is with the Commanders.
The Micah thing is just absolutely bad business. It's silly on the Cowboys' part, silly on Jerry's part. I don't think Micah has been.
That doesn't sound like bad business. That seems par for the course.
Yeah, I don't think Micah's been ridiculous about it. And also in Micah's case, with the amount of talent that he has, the production that he has, and the age that he is at, he absolutely should fight and resist playing on anything other than more guaranteed money. Because we've seen these guys get injured, especially at his position. Guys get rolled up on and things like that all the time.
Yeah,
he should not go into a franchise tag type scenario. I just think that's really ridiculous.
He's got to get that deal done. All right, let's get a break in here. Last break of the day, 106.1 ESPN.
Do Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis symptoms keep coming back? Tremfya, guselkumab, may help, with rapid remission achieved at 12 weeks and lasting clinical remission at 1 year. Some even saw visible improvement of their intestinal lining at 12 weeks and 1 year. Tremfya is a prescription medicine used to treat adults with moderately to severely active Crohn's disease and adults with moderately to severely active ulcerative colitis. Serious allergic reactions and increased risk of infections and liver problems may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or if you need a vaccine. Healing is possible with Tremfya. Approximately 3 out of 10 patients were in endoscopic remission at 1 year, based on areas visualized on colonoscopy, which may not represent the deeper bowel layer or entire GI tract. Individual results may vary. Ask your doctor about Tremfya today. Call 1-800-526-7736 to learn more or visit tremfyaradio.com.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $19 a month, a savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance.
For your free quote, call SelectQuote at 1-800-743-8080. That's 1-800-743-8080. Or go to SelectQuote.com. 1-800-743-8080. That's 1-800-743-8080.
SelectQuote. We shop. You save. Full details on example policies at selectquote.com/commercials. Drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds. With that kind of money, you could go big on a fancy water bottle with ultra titanium alloy metal. You're not sure why you need all that. I mean, it just holds water, but you're getting it anyway. Because if you're hiking near an active volcano and you accidentally drop the bottle into molten lava, your water will still be icy cold. Switch to Progressive and you could save big time. For water bottles. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states. Potential savings will vary.
If you have back-to-school shopping to do, then you should make Macy's your first stop. Because Macy's has back-to-school styles from brands like Nike and Jordan, must-have denim from Levi's and Good American. And now, Macy's has Abercrombie Kids, too. It's all in one place, all at great prices. And here's another reason to come in. If you're already at Macy's and you saved so much, you could stop by the fragrance counter and pick up something for yourself, too. The best back-to-school styles are here now at Macy's.
Evan, Canty, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
The Chiefs would be going for their 4th Super Bowl in a row. And I'm just wondering if at some point that takes a toll on them. If at some point we see the carriage turn into a pumpkin, not in a they're going to be bad and miss the playoffs type way, but just it's not the Arrowhead Invitational. It's not Patrick Mahomes wakes up and he's in the AFC Championship game and they automatically go to the Super Bowl.
Unsportsmanlike. Weekday morning starting at 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on ESPN2.
We've got insight, we've got opinions, and on August 20th, you can hear it all live. Matt Josephs and myself, Jack Fitzpatrick, we're taking Talking Dukes on the road to Draftcade in Short Pump. Come on out, rep JMU, and talk all things Dukes football with us and JMU special guests throughout the show. All at Draftcade on August 20th and right here on 106.1 ESPN, where Richmond talks JMU.
Jack Fitzpatrick brings energy and insight to Richmond mornings. From high school to college and the pros, he's got the city covered. Sponsor mornings on 106.1 ESPN Richmond. It's where the day begins and your brand gets noticed. Call 804-330-5700 or email ESPNRVA at summitmediacorp.com. 106.1 ESPN Richmond, where Richmond talks sports.
106.1 ESPN. Catch Border to Border with Matt Josephs. Statewide sports debates, unfiltered takes, and no-nonsense analysis. Tune in daily and join the conversation.
Welcome back in. The UFC and Paramount, before we get up on out of here, just inked about 50 minutes ago or so. At least it was been reported about 50 minutes or so ago. 7-year, $7.7 billion deal between the UFC and Paramount, giving Paramount exclusive streaming rights to all UFC events. And for some of the big events, they will be put on CBS, ending the pay-per-view model, putting it all on Paramount Plus. And it's a 7-year, $7.7 billion for UFC and Paramount. Wow. I did not think that it could command that type of money. Honestly,
the fight game can command a ton of money if you consider how much they make for pay-per-views and stuff. But the issue is with the UFC, I don't think their fighters are properly compensated.
hopefully this can help them but they aren't properly compensated.
I doubt it.
No, you're right. I mean,
Dana White has he has a boxing background, and promoters they're never generous. That's never how it works. So I doubt it.
$1.1 billion a year to stream UFC on Paramount Plus.
I find it hilarious that they did that, and ESPN didn't buy them up like they took WWE and NFL this week. They were busy.
Yeah, WWE that was gobbled up by ESPN. Didn't UFC and ESPN have some like massive deal too? I guess that's expiring, and now they're taking it over to Paramount.
Yeah, if not a deal, I think it might have been FX or something like that. But I know fans sometimes get annoyed by it, but I think business deals like this keep those particular sports running. Or in WWE's case, keeps that particular entertainment and event happening. It makes it sustainable for the fans.
And they've got to start giving back to their athletes, because they have been woefully underpaid for quite some time, saying that you're not the brand, UFC's the brand, which I think is correct in some cases, but at other times, like McGregor was bigger than UFC. I mean, Ronda Rousey, I know that she didn't finish her career all that well, but there was a point where she seemed bigger than UFC, and these people aren't being compensated as much as they probably should. Now you have $7 billion, $7.7 billion. Maybe that's get dispersed around a little bit. And that's one of my big issues with college sports. College sports with just March Madness alone, the media rights deal that they have with Turner and Paramount is multiple billions of dollars, and billion is a lot of money. It is a number quite literally our mind cannot comprehend. You can disperse that around. The NCAA doesn't need to be making billions of dollars for doing nothing and protecting nothing. You can disperse that around and make sure that, everyone's at least getting a little bit of something for their hard work and their labor that has gotten you to the point where you can sign a $1 billion agreement. And I hope that goes the same with UFC. Give them a little bit of money back, because they are the reason why that brand has built up where it is. But like Alan said, Dana White isn't necessarily known to be one that is a giver, more of a business shrewd man, a taker, some would say, and see how that plays out for him.
The Don King school.
Indeed. As we wrap up here, we want to shout out our friends at Bull Rush. Check them out, bullrush.com/ESPN. You can get involved with their new sports competition, NFL Survivor. The winner gets $50,000, and there's a full total prize pool of $100,000. Check them out, bullrush.com/ESPN. And Alan, I may hate preseason. I may think that we should just get rid of it altogether. But as long as they have it, I will overreact to preseason games. One of my overreactions is Trey Lance is back. And the other one is that I'm a believer in Shedeur Sanders as QB1 for Cleveland. Not the savior for Cleveland, but the quarterback one for at least the next couple of years in Cleveland. He solidified himself in week 1 of the preseason. And that's a pretty massive overreaction. Fitz the Bill. Back tomorrow.
From the Bull Rush ESPN studio. Learn more at bullrush.com/ESPN.